Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Today, I'm going to talk about navigating the FINTRAC exams. Not going to take a lot of time from you. This is going to be a very interesting session for our webinar. I'm going to talk about the FINTRAC examinations really quick. Please keep your questions to the end. If you have any, you can always reach out as well after the webinar. You can find us very easily on our website at amlincubator.com. We have many means of communication. Okay, let's get going. Introduction to FINTRAC exams. FINTRAC, as it stands, is the Financial Transaction Reports Analysis Center of Canada. This is Canada's financial intelligence unit. It enforces the Proceeds of Crime, Money Laundering, and Terrorist Financing Act. The agency can examine any business or individual for their effectiveness of their AML compliance program. Their approach is very simple, risk-based. High-risk sectors, entities face more frequent or detailed exams. This is pretty normal for them. So let's talk a bit about it. So types of exams, there could be several types of them. There can be on-site at business premises. They can knock your door, come in and start talking to you. Desk or remote review, where they would reach out via email at first and then would ask questions and send a request for documentation, and you need to provide everything remotely. Very important. Typically, you would have a advance notice, and they would be requesting these way in advance. We'll give you some time for you to provide and submit all the materials. Usually, is 1 month. In rare occasions, it might occur an exam without any prior notice. So they might come in, sit near you with the desk, and ask you some questions, and you have to comply. So why this matters? Aside from being a legal requirement, these exams help ensure that your organization or reporting entity's compliance program is effective. A strong compliance program not only avoids penalties, but also contributes to Canada's fight against money laundering and terrorist financing. Non-compliance can result in penalties or even criminal charges in serious cases, so it's crucial to be prepared. As you have noticed lately, there are 2 crypto platforms that got administrative monetary penalties lately. One of them is Qcoin, the other one is Cryptomus. One got dinged for $20 million, I do believe, approximately. The other one were for $175 million. So you need to be very careful because it can be, these exams can be the end of your business. You need to be prepared for it. So what to expect in an exam? FINTRAC checks compliance with the Proceeds of Crime, Money Laundering, and Terrorist Financing Act's obligations. Areas that they would be reviewed is the compliance program implementation, transaction reporting. An example could be suspicious transaction reports, large virtual currency transaction reports, record keeping, client identification data, third-party determination, and so on. Methods, pretty simple. Document and record review, staff interviews, evaluation of the procedures in practice. They just need to confirm whether your compliance regime is effective and operational. Now, key points. Once you are notified of a FINTRAC examination, the clock starts. Any required report that was due before the exam notice but not yet submitted will count as missed report. And any compliance program changes made after the notice won't erase deficiencies during the review period. In short, you need to have your house in order before the exam is announced. So you have to be audit ready all the time as a reporting entity. So let's talk about today's roadmap for our webinar. I would like to actually touch base on building an AML compliance program that meets FINTRAC's requirements, how to test it, and how to defend your program during the FINTRAC examination, and the best practices. And I'll share all of this with you today. So, building an AML compliance program. Building a robust compliance program is your first line of defense. FINTRAC explicitly requires every reporting entity to implement 5 key elements in its AML compliance regime. Number one is a compliance officer, or the individual that is responsible for your overall program. You need to designate a qualified compliance officer for your AML oversight. They must have authority to access senior management in all business lines. They have to have knowledge of AML obligations, very much tailored to Canada. They have to have the resources to enforce the program and to do their job. Documentation, appointing the individual to be the compliance officer from the date that they determine that they have to be a compliance officer. So this is very interesting to note, because this is one of the main reasons why they fail. You just need to document the date the compliance officer started their responsibility as being a compliance officer, okay? So this is number one. Number two is a written policies and procedures. You need to have a comprehensive AML policy suite tailored to your business size and risk. Must cover things like AML ATF policy, client identification policies, transaction monitoring policies, record keeping, risk assessment, things like that. Anything related and tailored to your business. So it's not just written compliance program, but you need to make sure that it's reasonably implementable. What that means is that it has to work for your business. It cannot just be a off-shelf policy suite that you just had, and it has to be tailored to your business. You need to continuously maintain, update your policy suite, and it has to be approved by a senior management. Third thing is the risk assessment. Very common for a lot of businesses to fail this. So you need to have a proper risk assessment for your business. And sorry about this. Let's go back. You need to identify and document money laundering and terrorist financing risks across products, services, clients, locations, and delivery channels, and other. So you need to evaluate controls, how effectively risks are mitigated, update regularly when risks or businesses activities change. For example, if you have introduced new products or you entered into a new geographical location, you do need to update your risk assessment. You do require to demonstrate risk-based approach. So enhanced controls and monitoring for high-risk areas, for example. Yeah, that's pretty much it, what I wanted to touch base on the risk assessment. The fourth thing is an ongoing training program. This is one of the easiest parts where you can check mark your obligation by just making sure that everyone within your company undergoes yearly AML-ATF program, training program. This can be bought at the AML Incubator as well. They're very cheap, or you can design one for yourself by going through fundamentals of AML-ATF in Canada. And this is very simple to maintain. And you need to make sure that it's current. You need to make sure that you have records of who passed it and tested, and who was present during these trainings. And number 5 is the effectiveness review, which is a external audit conducted every 2 years. And it can be done internally as well, by the way. However, the guidance is it would need to be someone that is not does not have any conflict of interest or any way related to the program, so they can have an independent oversight of your program. And it's a well common misconception that you have to do this every 2 years. That is not the case. It has to be done every 2 years after your first transaction. So it's not from the date that you have registered your money services business or you became a reporting entity. Okay, that's that pretty much when it comes to an effective compliance program. So putting it all together, FINTRAC will verify that your compliance program is comprehensive, documented, and implemented effectively. They view these 5 elements holistically. Weaknesses in one area, an example would be record keeping or missed report, may signal that your overall program isn't effective. It's not enough to simply have a manual on the shelf. You need to demonstrate that your program works in practice. For example, you have having a customer identification procedures on paper won't satisfy an examiner if your client files are missing required ID information. Important. Build a culture and system where these controls are actually followed and updated as needed. Okay. So tips for building a strong program. Tailor it to your business, stay current, document everything. So if there are any changes, if there are any emails that is significantly or insignificantly or materially, I would say, changes your program or affects your program, you just need to document them. Email from another individual from the company sending an email to you related to a case that you have discussed about the AML compliance is actually an example of good documentation when it comes to FINTRAC examinations. And you can continuously do that, okay? Next is testing your AML compliance program. Having a program is not enough. You need to test and maintain it continuously. Testing here refers to any internal measures you take to evaluate and improve your AML controls beyond the day-to-day compliance operations. This is closely tied to the effectiveness review mentioned above, but also includes ongoing monitoring and quality control checks. Independent effectiveness reviews every 2 years. These are mandatory. However, you can do mock effectiveness reviews every 4 to 5 months. And needless to say, very important, if you have a good effectiveness review, there is a high chance that your FINTRAC examination is going to be very similar to what gaps were found during the effectiveness review. So there are many companies that conduct effectiveness review, mini effectiveness reviews, once every quarter or once every 6 months, just to make sure that they are audit ready within that. Yeah, so this is ongoing self-monitoring, we call it. Beyond the formal biannual review, compliance should be monitored continuously to catch and correct issues early. Key monitoring methods is transaction testing, KYC file audits, stranger testing. This is very interesting. So many clients would actually conduct a stranger testing. They would act like they're a stranger to the company and come ask questions related to your compliance department. Many implement compliance scorecards, just automating every component of your compliance program and maintaining certain scorecard just to make sure that it is hitting the levels that they require, and they set a standard that way. So all of these are, ways you can enhance your audit readiness. Another one is, this is just part of the ongoing self-monitoring. One thing is important to mention here is if you found significant or material deficiency in your program, not to worry. The fact is that you have taken reasonable measures to do so. It is already a massive component of your way to be compliant, even if you found a material or significant deficiency. There is a mechanism for it, which is called VSDOC, Voluntary Self-Declaration of Non-Compliance. If you uncover a major issue yourself and report it, it won't erase the violation, but will show good faith and may reduce penalties. I haven't seen an instance where we would send a voluntary self-declaration of non-compliance to FINTRAC and they used it against us during the examination. Okay, this is very important. So another one is keep your risk assessments and program fresh, update them 6 or 12 months. 6 months is very good. If you have material changes though that happens more frequently, kindly make sure that you update that. Make sure that it is documented properly. For example, my risk assessment yesterday was this, my risk assessment today is different, and these are the changes that have been made. Implement recommendation and create an action plan to address any gaps that you have and continuously improve your program. Another one is mock exams, as I've mentioned. conduct them. These are very helpful, helps you to be audit ready. And in summary, let's put all of this together. Testing your AML compliance program is about assurance, continuous improvement. By regularly evaluating your controls, both through mandate reviews and your own proactive checks, you can confidently defend your program and avoid nasty surprise during FINTRAC. Defending your AML program during the FINTRAC exam. When FINTRAC comes knocking, either scheduling a review or arriving on site, you'll need to defend your AML program. Defending means being able to demonstrate that your program is effective and to address any findings or questions the examiners have. This does not mean that you need to be not cooperative with them, okay? This means that you just need to work with them and help them assess your program. You need to cooperate. It is very important. Now, preparation mindset. Stay ready. Gather the documents. Notify the management of the FINTRAC exam. Brief the team. And plan the logistics. Very simple. It's like going to the trip. You just need to plan and execute. Okay? So you bring all of the documentation in place. Just go through the list of the documents. Create a spreadsheet of some sort of what is required from FINTRAC, the deadlines, and make sure who is responsible from each department to acquire all this documentation and provide it to FINTRAC. Easy. Now, during the examination, again, provide the full cooperation to the regulator. Be organizing responses, maintain honesty and clarity, and leverage the documentation that you have provided. Needless to say, it is okay to have insignificant deficiencies and or gaps. It's normal. FINTRAC knows this. They have done it so many times. They understand that no program is perfect. However, under no circumstances you should conceal any important information that they have requested. Okay? Remember, FINTRAC is an agency that does have intelligence. Okay? There is a reason that you might or might not be under the examination. There might be a case where FINTRAC received a lot of intelligence on your company, on your reporting entity, and that is why they are doing these investigations, okay, or examinations. Communication with the examiners is important as well. Expect professionalism. FINTRAC examiners are fair, clear, and maintain confidentiality throughout the process. If you have something that you don't understand, but they are requesting from you, simply ask for clarification. Hey, is this report required in this format or that format? What do you require for these transactions that you specifically requested? Okay. Stay open and respectful. Under no circumstances, go yell at the examiners and provide supporting evidence. If findings seem inaccurate, present documentation immediately that can resolve these issues on the spot. Closing and after the exam. If deficiencies are found, it's okay. Don't be discouraged. Simply respond promptly to the examiners and show them a prompt, step-by-step remediation plan that you have in your mind. Don't forget, most of the exams do reveal improvement areas. It's very normal, okay? And make sure that you follow up with the regulator once your remediation is done, after they have identified the deficiencies in your program. This demonstrates commitment, and every reporting entity should follow it, okay? Let's go forward. Practical tips during the exam. Again, maintain a positive attitude. If you're a compliance officer within that organization, keep in mind the most important characteristic of a compliance officer during the examination is staying calm during the emergencies and processes like FINTRAC examination. You just need to be collected with your composure and make sure that the whole entity and every department within that entity cooperates. Just come in and say, hey, calm down, we're being examined, Everything is okay. We're ready for it. Let's help each other out and get this out of the way. Okay. Provide context if past gaps existed, explain how they were addressed, and show evidence of improvement. This demonstrates accountability and progress. And look, view it as a learning opportunity. Use examiners' feedback to enhance your compliance framework. Update training, refine your future testing. Treat each exam as a chance to strengthen your program. Look into it that way, and you'll be fine. Conclusion. Okay, so preparing for navigating a FINTRAC exam may sound daunting, but with a solid foundation and proactive approach, it becomes manageable. Build your AML compliance program with all required elements and tailor it to your risk. Test that program regularly through formal effectiveness reviews and ongoing self-audits to ensure it's working as intended and to catch issues early. By the time FINTRAC comes for an exam, you will be ready to defend your efforts by demonstrating a culture of compliance and thorough preparedness. Remember that FINTRAC examiners are looking for a program that is not only compliant on paper, but effective in practice. They will assess whether you are genuinely meeting the spirit of the law, preventing money laundering and terrorist financing through diligent controls. If you can show that you take this responsibility seriously, the exam should hold no surprises. Okay, kindly reach out to us if you have any questions. Again, we're a fractional compliance outsourcing firm. We help companies navigate FINTRAC examination. We do free mock exams, and would love to help you. Meanwhile, thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day.